Judy, how you doing? Great. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So, Neil is the founder and CEO of Overnight Edit, and today we're going to speak about his business and what he does. So, Neil, can you share a bit about your background, your career path, and what led you into creating Overnight Edit?
Yeah, I have a passion for video. I got involved with it early on in my life. In the Back in the old days when I was shooting performers and demonstrations and all that stuff uh, from a camera I had gotten at a pawn shop and a Bolex, and just started shooting and loved it. I was a journalism student, and to me, it was the most direct form of journalism. And I was on a paper at the time as well. So I love video from the beginning. We shot film first. I happened to shoot the Rolling Stones and Stevie Wonder at Carnegie Hall when in my early 20s. I just had a good opportunity to be out there shooting important events. So I always loved it. And then I worked for ABC Television and shot some major events for them as part of their whole staff. So it became part of my life. And video in those days was new. It was transferring from film to video in general usage, and video was the best because it was so easy to manipulate and easy to use, especially with the birth of the digital age that took place all around us not that long ago.
Neil, I heard that you actually won 2 Emmy Awards for documentaries. Can you share a bit about that?
Thank you. Yes, I always was a writer, and I went to the American Film Institute as a writer. And after that, I got hired by PBS and CBS and other companies. And for PBS, I wrote 2 documentary series. Both of them won Emmys, and I got Emmy recognition for that. One was an anthropology series, and one was a series on marketing, actually. And it was a lot of fun because basically I was writing what I knew I would eventually be shooting and editing. It was pretty symbiotic, and those Emmys were gave me a lot of confidence as I got older.
Right. Neil, can you share what is this concept of overnight edit? I mean, did you see something in the consumer market that spurred this idea?
Well, it's an evolving thing, overnight edit. What I'm doing right now and what got me to this position was simply I realized everything was moving online, especially in video. I had a large studio with lots of equipment, and I decided that wasn't the way to go. I still have the equipment, but I do everything. I probably about 8 years ago, I decided to put everything into an easy to use online site. And my theme was you upload, we edit. And it was a very direct way of dealing with the client and
Right.
very smooth. This is pre-COVID now. This was way before we had to be the lockdowns and all the stoppage of business.
hmm Oh, so can you share more about this? Like how would someone use overnight edit? Is it like an application that you plug in and you upload your video? Can you kind of take me to the process of how you go about it?
Sure. Well, right now it's very simple. All you do is you go to overnightedit.com
Okay.
and click on the upload button. It opens up your computer. You
Uh-huh.
select the material you want to send to me, and we upload it. You do by hitting the upload button. I
Right.
got your footage, and then we edit as to your specifications.
Wow. And so are you lending the consumer to do it themselves? In some ways, have more control of like which videos they could use to edit, and then you do the work and process behind the scenes?
Yes, I mean that's a good question, and we're evolving on that. And there will be an app coming out in the not too distant future that will make this much more streamlined and automated, if you will.
Right.
But I'm never going the total AI route, although I use AI quite a bit and always have. What I do now is when we get your material, you can indicate to us either on the site, which has a notepad or whatever you want to describe. You can upload a script, and we cut to that, or we cut to a discussion that we have about what you want to do and get that done for you quickly. But it's basically right now a hands-on, handcrafted experience in which your video is edited to the specifications that you communicate to us, and then we end up giving it back to you quickly and with the changes that you want. And so that seems to be working at this stage. And as I say, in the future, this will be highly automated.
Well, that kind of segues to my next question. You somewhat answered it already, but I figure we just speak about that now. You mentioned about AI technology, and since AI technology is so prevalent right now, are you saying that Overnight Edit is more handcrafted and more personalized in the services? Can you elaborate more? Because AI is such a popular thing to use now, and there's so many AI platforms. So why would a consumer go to Overnight Edit versus using one of their AI apps, so to speak?
Right. That's a great question. But the problem with AI and, it's getting into video now to the consumer level a little bit. If you've ever used those things, it's highly disappointing unless you want a robot to come up with some sort of idea of what you're thinking.
Right.
We don't work that way. What we do is human curated. We make sure everything is looked over carefully. And what we do now is simply handcraft your videos with talented editors that work for our company, and we make sure every video is looked at before it's sent back. And the other thing is we send them back rather quickly. I mean, my background was in news for ABC, and we had to get things out by the 6 o'clock news. So I'm used to doing things quickly. And decision making is something that editors have to do. And most of the time, consumers send us stuff is they're looking for our judgment, but a quick decision and move on.
Got it. And what kind of clients do you serve?
Well, excuse me. Our most reliable client since our inception, let's say, as Overnight Edit, has been the business client, the corporate client, the institution client, government. So those are the ones that trust us to get their material turned around quickly. And we've dealt with Fortune 500 companies, mid-range companies, and small mom and pop companies, doctors, lawyers.
Mid-size, yeah.
Yeah, mid-size, right.
Neil, like for a person that's new or it's someone that's not tech savvy, as an example, is there a learning curve in knowing how to work this app or this upload and knowing how to maneuver in that?
No, no learning curve. I mean,
Okay,
if you're a grandparent or somebody who's maybe not too tech savvy,
right?
Sometimes just getting started with anything in the computer is learning the routine. But simply you open our site, go to the upload button, and click on it, and you have to know how to find your files. Perhaps it can be your phone too. Right. There's a certain amount of learning to locate your material, but beyond that, there's nothing else to learn. And when we get to our automated version, we will be doing that for you. Once you give us permission to access your current footage, we will do that for you. So it's getting easier for the average person to work with us.
Got it. Going back to your clientele, so it's professional businesses, but you also serve families as well, correct? Like, let's say their son or daughter, wants to get a college scholarship in soccer or tennis. They would want something like this because you have a chance to video edit, right?
Exactly. And, that's the beauty of it, because the parents usually get the footage from one of the parents or they shoot it themselves.
Right.
And then they're at a loss. And there are services that will put together these videos for you. Most of them are very expensive. Sometimes the school will pay for it, but that's a
minority. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably better. What I do is they give me the person's, let's say, number or board, tell me what they're trying to achieve. And I have had these things for years where we cut the highlights. We put indicators, usually ovals, red ovals, lines around the player so we can track them easily and show their highlights. And it's very effective just to get them even into college. It's an extra feather in the cap.
Yeah, yeah, and it shows their resume and, as part of their portfolio. Um, Neil, what do you think are the top 3 benefits a consumer gains from working with you?
Well, the top one, I think, is being able to work with skilled professional Hollywood, if you will, editors who
Right.
have access to their footage in a secure fashion. And then go from there. And the second thing would be the speed in which we do it, which is that's where we got the name overnight. We can do overnight editing literally. Doesn't always have to be that quickly, but
Right.
as opposed to other houses which can take weeks for you to get anything, if you're lucky, if they even remember who you are.
Right.
And then maybe the third thing is the quality is superb. You always get the files that you want quickly, and they're rich, large files that you can do so much with down the road.
Mm. What is the most popular audience as far as using overnight edit, and why?
Well, right now it's the corporation, the business. What's growing even more is the family. There's so many things from family reunions to travel to graduations. You can go on and on. And then the third thing is the sports world, where we do stuff for athletes and we do stuff for recruitment videos. That's another strong market. And the fourth, if you will, is the self promoter, the creator on social media who has got videos that need work. I know a lot of them. Many of them do try it out themselves, and then they get frustrated because there's a learning curve to becoming a video editor, and we have that all down, and we do it quickly.
Right. Um, I'm actually curious for myself as well. What is the cost benefit on this versus like hiring a professional videographer as well?
Right. Well, with that, you are hiring a professional videographer. The thing is, we make it simple for you. The cost benefits is because we deal in a pretty good sized volume and a larger market. Our prices are reasonable.
Right.
Anywhere from under $100 to several $100, depending on the length of the video.
Right.
And it can go much higher for corporations who have extensive projects, and we can get sophisticated into animation and motion graphics, all that stuff. But our bread and butter, if you will, is the average consumer or the average business.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an incredible app, Neil. I mean, just hearing from you, it just sounds like the average household needs something like this as an everyday tool. And what do you think as far as the demand for it? So let's say in a situation where you're inundated with a high level of video requests, are you able to support that kind of capacity, that high level of support?
Yes, we're at a stage now where we're dealing again without an app, but basically a visit to the website. So we're not as automated as we will become, but the basic structure is there. So at this point, what I'm looking for from people is just continued usage of our site and
Right.
our quick turnaround. But eventually, we can scale up tremendously, and that's why the app is going to have. We have a great chief technology officer who is working with me to design a quick, simple, incredibly secure app that will be able to scale to thousands of videos a week, or even more than that. So we're not worried about that. All I want to do, though, at the present, besides grow the app, which we are already, is to keep business and customers happy and seamless. No friction, very easy to use.
Right. In your decades of experience, Neil, I mean, what do you see as an industry trend going on in videography and filmmaking?
Great questions. The trend is towards AI and trend
Yeah.
is towards cleaning up video imagery. The
Yeah.
problem is it's very hard to manage, and a lot of people don't have the patience. 9 out of 10 video companies you're going to use may know a little bit about one type of AI, if you will, or one type of a technique, but really all you really want to do for people is give them really good editing. And that has to do with the rhythm, it has to do with the correct cuts. And the rest of it is all embellishment, but necessary in many ways. Cleaning up sound, image enhancement, all this stuff is what AI is really good at. Judgments by AI, not so good,
Right.
because they tend to pick the wrong things. That's why human hands-on curating, if you will, is the answer.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that in videos, I feel, when you work with someone personally, like with you can see that the images and the words and the context and the congruency just flows much better when you're with a live working person versus AI trying to match the pieces. I almost feel like there's a soul level that is embedded when you see certain videos versus just a bunch of pieces being aggregated, so to speak, and you can,
That's right.
you can actually feel it in the energy of the video.
You can, and if that's not done, you're going to get something that will be kind of soulless and
Right.
heartless. If you use Chat GPT and rewrite something,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to give you that same kind of
Feeling.
situation. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to polish it, but you can't live with what they give you.
Right.
It
Right.
doesn't work.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And about Chat GPT, I think it's used as a tool, but not as a replacement. Um,
Right, right, exactly.
Neil, what do you think? What are some of the attributes, I guess, that you think your clients like most about working with you in Overnight Edit?
Well, I think they like the fact that we listen to them,
Mhm.
and whether it's a a person who's man or woman who's finally putting together their family history and remembers back generations, talks about certain people they want to highlight,
Yeah.
like a computer cannot do that, or they put forth a certain amount of passion when they're talking about their project that doesn't come through with just simple computer data entry. I think it's that hands-on personal touch that we bring every single project.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like the ideal customer experience that you offer for a lot of clients and consumers. I kind of want to segue into talking more about business and for corporations because we have a pretty good idea just of how families would use videos, like in events, weddings, sports, that sort of thing. But for
Yeah.
corporations, businesses, how can they use Overnight Edit to enhance their videos and video creations?
Well, excuse me. For instance, they usually are the people who are trying to get across marketing ideas, training concepts,
Right.
uh,
Brands.
brand very important, and or maybe a CEO communication piece, either to
Mhm.
cut to in house. So there's a lot of usage for corporate video, obviously. So that's was always been our strong suit, and I think that will never stop. They are a little more, let's say, detail oriented. They have intricate scripts, and sometimes it involves animation or certain intercutting between speakers. That's not a problem, but that's why the corporation comes to us. We're not just somebody who does, online Instagram videos. We do long pieces of necessary training series, all that stuff. And I know how to price that. I've been selling that for 20, 30 years. And it all comes from my documentary background, my writing skills, and getting right to the point in storytelling using video.
So, Neil, when I was speaking earlier about as a digital marketing agency and from my perspective looking in at Overnight Edit, I see it for great many uses as far as like taking raw videos of corporate video shoots. And then you, instead of going out for another shoot, you could take a compilation of the different videos you've already done and use Overnight Edit to make new videos and new shorts and so forth. Is that something that's pretty common in other businesses as far as your usage?
Yes, it all depends on who's running the business from their end, but we do that all the time. And
Right.
it turns out to be an effective way to use video. Build a live video library, manage it, and, constantly draw from it.
Right. And what aspect of your job do you like the most, or what do you get the most enjoyment out of when?
Well, there's a couple of things. Because I'm so fascinated by video, I enjoy where I'm taking it now with the new app, because I'm going to change the way people look at video. They'll never be the same. And the reason I didn't open our interview with that is I'm not there yet, and I don't want to promise things that aren't something you can use this afternoon. But my whole desire is to make video more and more fluid. It is the language of the internet, it is our entire, let's say, world that we live in when we're not dealing with reality. Video is a big part of our psyche. So I love working with video and making it easier and easier for people to use, because people are pretty fascinating just to begin with. So yeah, I think it's being a CEO now and running a company that is on the forefront of bringing video that people shoot on their phones out into the light so that people can use them.
Well, Neil, it sounds like you're revolutionizing some of the aspects of video editing and video creation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's our plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any other last message? I thought that was very well said earlier, but is there any other messages that you like to give to the world?
Just that, keep shooting video, capture the special moments, and they will get seen. Right now, not as easy to do, but it will be soon. People will see these special moments of your family, your job, your friends, your desires. They'll be out there in a good way, not in a superficial way, but well crafted. And we want to be part of that.
Well, thank you so much, Neil. Thank you so much for your wisdom and your expertise. And we hope to talk with you again next time.
That's a good plan. And thank you for your intelligent, patient, and thoughtful questions.
Thank you, Neil.